get started. So I don't know who's who. So why don't you both start by introducing yourself? Tell me about Kohl's and the type of business that you guys are in.
I'm Jason Budman. I've been with Kohl's for about 18 years, and you get to go.
I'm Taylor Cole. I've been with Colt for what, 15 years now, probably.
Okay.
Between kind of starting from when I was a little kid. So
Got it. So tell me about the business. How long have you guys been around? Why do you love what you do? What should customers know about Kohl's?
yeah, so I'm actually fifth generation. It was my great grandfather that started it back in 1883. So we've been around for a long time. Started off here in Danville, PA. Kind of grown to the 12-store chain we are now.
And what do you guys sell? What is your business in a nutshell?
Yeah, so we're in the real DIY kind of do-it-yourself or home repairs, paint. So you get into plumbing repairs, the electrical, lawn and garden, outdoor living. So we do a fair amount of business in grills, lawn fertilizers, grass seeds, that kind of stuff. So, and then
Awesome.
obviously tools. So can't be a hardware store without power tools.
Yes, of course. So what challenges were you facing? Let's dive into the SuiteRetail POS system. What challenges were you facing? What made you wake up and say, you know what, we've got a problem here. X is the challenge and we need to fix it.
So the reality of it is we were on a computer system that was end of life, and we knew that we only had a certain amount of time to make some decisions. We had actually been shopping for a number of years trying to find the solution that we thought was going to work best for Kohl's business. As a result, we ended up with NetSuite. And early on in our NetSuite endeavor, we realized that the point of sale platform that they were recommending we use was not going to work for Kohl's. So we were obviously made aware of SuiteRetail, and I would say that the thing that SuiteRetail has done for us is just simply speed. That was what was really missing from some of these other options that we had for our front end point of sale to complement NetSuite. We can truly do fast transactions. We are a low touch, high transaction business. So we had to have the ability to get customers out the door quick, and that's what SuiteRetail has been able to do for us.
Awesome. That's great. So do you have, it doesn't have to be scientific, but any formal measures of where the speed was prior and, since speed is so important, where it is now? If you had to summarize, prior to implementing the SuiteRetail system, we were at X and now we're at X, how would you describe that?
I think that the real noticeable spot on this is credit cards. Our credit cards, for around here, we're faster than some of the major grocery stores. Anybody I go into, I'm using my credit card and we're pretty darn quick. So I think that's probably the biggest speed change that I've seen.
I think the other place that we're realizing speed changes as well is it's easier for our register operators to find items. Before we were on a keyboard and it was truly all keyboard driven, but it's easier to find items in the record now for them, for items that typically they would have had to search before, where we have the ability now to create panes or tiles that we can group a bunch of different items in. We sell a lot of outdoor product, Kim. So there's a lot of bag goods outside, and there's a lot of times where it'd be hard for the cashier to differentiate the customer was asking for.
We get a lot of customers that come in and say, I want the green bag outside. So you can actually see what the green bag is now. So it makes it simpler for the employees to figure out which bag they're really talking about.
So that certainly has increased our speed at retail.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
Was major.
You mentioned it a bit, in terms of talking about the issues you guys had prior to implementing SuiteRetail system. But why did you choose SuiteRetail over some other companies?
I guess that really comes back to the speed again. The speed and the AR. We do a fair amount of AR accounts. So we were looking for signatures and that kind of stuff. And SuiteRetail is really the only one out there that has that kind of capability.
You had mentioned that with the employees, there was some positive feedback and it helps. And then with the customer, it helps them when they're seeing the green bag and that instance. I guess what I'm asking for is a rephrase of, SuiteRetail helped our customers and our employees and how that came into play.
I really think in terms of customers, I mean, the system we were running on before was really PC based, so it was kind of old and archaic. So I think the change in the new iPad sitting up front, everything essentially wireless, being able to take chips and like Apple Pay and that kind of stuff. I think that really showed that we're looking to continue to change and stay up to date with what the market has, continue to evolve as essentially their needs change, the customers' needs change, and how the whole perspective on the market changes. So we're kind of in a rural spot of Pennsylvania. You know, technology doesn't hit us very fast. We're like 2.5 hours outside of New York City, 2.5 hours from Philly. So it gets to us, but just really slow. But we're starting to get to that point where more and more Apple Pay starts coming around, and it's just a matter of changing with the environment of technology. And I think that this gives us the ability to do that.
I think the other thing that it's done for both our customers and our employees is it has changed how personalized the transaction is. Our previous system, it was keyboard driven, and you really weren't facing the customer when you're doing those transactions. With the ability to have an iPad, the iPad is literally in front of you, and you're facing the customer when you're having that conversation with them at the register. It's made it more of an intimate I shouldn't even say transaction, because it's made us less transactional and more personal.
Yeah, really gets to connect. It makes you connect with the customer.
Yep.
That's great. I loved how you broke that down. Thank you. What are your favorite features about the SuiteRetail product?
I guess from my perspective, before we were running on a server, so we definitely needed internet no matter what. So as soon as the internet went down, the power went down, we were kind of sitting in the water, pen and paper. The ability to do offline point of sale and just be able to be mobile wherever we want to be. That's, from my perspective, one of the bigger features that we enjoy. So
I agree.
You've alluded to how SuiteRetail's product has essentially changed and made things simpler. From a day-to-day perspective, can you flesh out any day-to-day impact it's had on your business or how you operate?
I'll go back to credit card. Credit card is fast, and it is extremely fast. It's very functional. We can typically process an average transaction in less than 3 seconds. So from the time you put the card in, within 3 seconds, it's saying to take the card out. So nobody in our area has that. We are clearly the fastest credit card using PayPal through SuiteRetail.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think back to the whole panes and tiles with the pictures. I mean, it gets us a little more accurate on what we're doing, the speed up there also. So we're not ringing out the wrong item as often as we were.
We used to live off of pieces of paper, Kim, that had 25 or 30 items on it with a barcode that the cashier would have to find the right sheet of paper. Then they'd have to find it on the sheet of paper and scan it. Now they just type the name, or they go to a tile and hit the tile, and 25 items are there, and they're touching the one they want. It truly has simplified that part of our business.
Any more thought around the trend you're seeing in the hardware space today, and in terms of what opportunities are in the industry?
No, I think we were kind of talking about this yesterday, and just stuff that's happening in the market. There's more like people my age, the millennials, kind of starting to buy their own homes. I think there's more and more people that want to do it themselves. So I think as time goes on, we're going to continue to see that. And then it's going to be one of those things for us. We're in the customer service. Like, we want to be real customer friendly, and with people coming in, kind of knowing what they're doing, having an idea, having the professionals or the employees at the store also just kind of helping them bring it all together to complete their projects. I think that's where we see us kind of going in the future.
A lot of DIYers are doing their research online.
Yeah.
They're not typically the generation that wants the personal interaction until they need it. They want to do their homework first, but then they want to be reassured that what they were thinking is correct. And I think that's where you'll continue to see value from the hardware stores and the trusted resources that are in the hardware store to say, no, you know what, John, you're thinking right. You got this. Let me help you find the things that you need to make sure you walk out of here with everything you need for your project.
Customers shop with Kohl's. What do they like about the experience with you?
Again, I would say it's the personal interaction, it's the trusted advisor, it's the relationships. We are in the relationship building business. When a customer comes in, We typically know them and we know their family, and it's being involved in their life. Um, hey, John, you were in last week. How'd you make out with that plumbing project? Those are the kinds of things, those are the connections that um, Kohl's has lived on and really differentiates us from the big box stores. It's that personal experience and caring.
Got it. And then in terms of, you mentioned you have some repeat customers. This is probably a stretch, but have any customers commented or said anything about, the checkout process and how it's been simplified, or has that not come up in conversation?
I know I've personally heard people say, wow, you guys really stepped your game up. So going from the old school system to where we're at now. So I think I've heard very positive things on it.
I would agree. I believe that the experience again is more personalized. You are now in a position with the iPad and the flexibility of the stand that we put the pad in to have more of a one-to-one conversation with the customer. Prior, the way we were set up, it didn't give us that ability. And again, as we continue to evolve with SuiteRetail, we want to continue to use the information in the system and the way it connects back to NetSuite to truly be able to know some of the customer's purchase history, be able to help make it an end-to-end process with them.
The ability to be mobile, I think we can leverage that to be even more personal with customer, again, what they need pretty quickly and directly.
If there was another company out there that, had a slower system and they were considering changing, but they weren't quite there yet, didn't know if they wanted to make the leap, whatever, financial investment, time, what would you say to those companies?
If they're looking for a point of sale system that serves their business, I think that SuitePOS has flexibility in multiple ways. So whether you're a high touch environment where you're spending a half hour or an hour with a customer going over consultation, or you are somebody that needs to get your customers out the door effectively and efficiently and quickly, I believe the software will do that for any of those situations that would exist. The other thing that I would like to say is that I think SuiteRetail has been really good at looking at our business and the things that we are going to continue to need moving forward. So the relationship, I could say, if you're looking for a relationship as well, we've created a relationship with SuiteRetail.